Calls himself the Dark Man. Mostly I just see his wolf.
Okay, maybe this was it. Okay, was this?
He's trying to do that squirrel that ate the fermented pears.
It was like my man was on stage doing,
Don't worry.
Yeah, it was my man on stage trying to get the audience to don't worry. Hey everyone, support our Patreon, which helps us to continue bringing you our live streams, videos, and podcasts while bringing you new content such as exclusive live streams and animated shorts. People, COVID-19 has been very, very bad. I don't need to tell you that. That's obvious. But on the bright side, it hasn't wiped out 99.9% of the population, with the remaining half being won over by an evil but groovy homeless guy just walking down the street. Hey, cool cats.
The walking dude.
The walking dude.
The fact that he even uses the moniker of dude is dated.
He's groovy, man. What's up, dude? Are you evil? Hang with me. But that scenario is very familiar to some people out there. For those who have read Stephen King's 1978, what they call classic masterpiece novel, The Stand. Stephen King described it as, he says, you know what, it's the Lord of the Rings, if I do say so myself. Modern Lord of the Rings, sure, if you will.
Yeah, his Lord of the Rings. Okay.
Hey, look, it's my Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I didn't like that one, so I made my own.
Now talk about a tree for 2.5 pages.
Yeah.
I can accept that.
In this book, that's the scenario right there. 99.9% of the world was wiped out by what they call Captain Trips, a super flu. And the immune people, those survivors out there, half of them are seeing this evil but smooth ass dude that's telling everybody, hey, you want to do drugs and have sex and party and I don't know, even kill people all day? Hang with me.
Meet me in Vegas.
Meet me in Vegas. You can go hang out with that old black bitch over there. Mother Abigail, who ain't nothing but like old apocalyptic Harriet Tubbs.
Yeah. She's down with God.
Yeah, God. Yeah, you can go in there and hang out with that old slave woman if you want to. I mean, if you want to do boring shit like have meetings all day and work and shit.
And be cooperative.
Yeah,
rebuild society if that's your thing.
Yeah. Well, you can rebuild society in that boring shit over there, or you can rebuild society in this 24-hour party that we got going on over here. Hoes and cocaine all day. Who's with me, right? Right? I mean, I might crucify you if you fuck up, but just don't fuck up. Me cool. Get as much cocaine ass you want all day.
And how cool will it be to watch somebody get crucified, huh?
Exactly. Shit, that's actually doing somebody a favor. You got a pool out there with people who kill each other with chainsaws and shit. That's badass, right? Yeah, come hang with me, man. Come hang with me. This was a TV movie back in 1994. And look, you can just talk about how authentic it was to the book all day long, but it has not aged very well.
From Stephen King, the master of suspense.
Do it now! Champion, you have to close
It's a shit. That gate is wide open. Yeah. You invited me to leave.
Yeah, I appreciate that anytime I see it.
Yeah.
A deadly virus released by...
Stuck to the wall?
It's like any sense. You're not
He got suction cups on his head. You're like
Spider-Man.
Yeah, he got bitten by a radioactive spider right before this.
Yeah, right before he died.
From the mistake. As the plague sweeps out of control, a nation erupts, society crumbles.
Shit, that looks like today. Hey, what's the difference?
It's amazing how little money they were willing to put into these things.
I didn't care. Did not care.
Oh, it just looks so cheap.
This shit looks like one of those educational films that they show you. Mm-hmm. They show you at school or comes on like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
It sweeps out of control.
Hey, Looney's not cool, people.
Society crumbles.
Dance on the cop car. Is this not?
End is here.
Jesus, got him.
Sweep the leg. That fool just got through watching Karate Kid.
Now, all that remains.
Jesus Christ.
Did that turn into claymation for a little bit?
Oh, yeah. They use claymation. It's cheap.
Yeah. Actually, no, that was CG. It's just real cheap, fake-ass looking CG. With the real pandemic happening, what perfect time to get it up to date. People, we have on CBS All Access. We were given all access to 6 episodes of this 9-episode series, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to have another season. I'm pretty sure they're going to wrap it up.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. We'll see.
I'm surprised they only gave us 6. I mean, it's like only 3 more. Just
give us the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think what they want to do is Stephen King wrote the last episode.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's the conclusion of it. I don't know if they have another season, but
I read that they've changed things from the novel for the ending.
No, that's what I was going to say. The ending has always been stupid.
That's what I'm saying. You had him to come in and write another ending. I'm like, oh boy, perfect choice for Stephen King.
It's not even it's not even the real ending. It's just the climax of it. They have like a long ass prologue after that. But they have a long ass epilogue after that. But there's the climax of the novel is stupid. They even changed it for the TV series a little bit.
I do not remember what the ending was.
I'll tell you after we're done. It's bad. It's.
I mean,
you remember it, right?
I mean,
That's all you.
I said it. It's a Stephen King book, so the ending being bad is likely.
Yeah. So they said he wrote the last episode. Now, does that mean that it concludes? I don't know. But they said that they made it different because everybody agrees that the ending or the big climax in here is not that good. But we didn't get that far. But we will tell you about the majority of the episodes that we saw, which is enough to make an opinion about this. Let's go ahead and watch the trailer for CBS All Access, the 2020 version of The Stand.
Calls himself the Dark Man. Mostly I just see his wolf.
Okay, maybe this was it. Okay, it was this.
He turned into that squirrel that ate the fermented pears.
It was like my man was on stage doing,
Don't worry.
Yeah, it was my man on stage trying to get the audience to don't worry.
Mother Abigail told us that there are 2 sides to the world.
Our time has begun!
Yeah, he had Kid Rock back there scared. Did you see my man hugging the wall back there? Shit, bar to the bar.
Begun!
You must make your stand.
They do this thing in the series where if you are a fan of the novel at all, especially if you read the unabridged version, which is like 1,000-something pages.
It is.
Yeah,
it's a tome.
Yeah, and I read that one. I actually read that pretty quick because I was into the book. I'm going to this and letting you know this is one of my favorite Stephen King novels. But as time has passed, I'm going to be fair with that and not let that actually cloud the review of the series, and not let it cloud my review on how the story itself has aged over time. Because one of the things that you'll notice if you are a fan of the book, right off the bat, they already start with these characters mingling with each other. It's done out of order. It's done out of time. And so they do a lot of flashbacks. They do a lot of back and forth. It can be a little jarring at first. Again, especially if you go into this expecting like a very straightforward telling of the narrative. After a while, I got used to it. Doesn't mean they always did it well the whole time. And I read why they did it. Did you read the book? You read this book, right?
Yeah, I read it back in high school.
Yeah, and I loved this novel when I read it. But so I went in expecting like a straightforward narrative, but I got used to it after a while, what they were doing. But I don't think it always worked. Now I'll tell you, one of the things that did work with them putting this out of order is that they get right into Captain Trips, the disease. And one of the things that you keep reading the book, and it's, unless you've seen some illustrations from the book, and they do have illustrations of Bernie Wrightson
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a series of illustrations that the comic book artist Stephen King said, this is my favorite comic book artist, a guy named Brandon Wrights, and he actually, maybe we'll post it up later. I'll show you after the review, but he wanted him to come in and illustrate some of this. Unless you've seen those illustrations, you only read about the illness, and they didn't really get it right in the TV version. You know, people looked like they had a cold. People just, you know, in the TV version, people just, they were just sweaty and coughing.
Yeah, it's cheap.
Yeah, and plus it was TV.
Yeah.
So they couldn't get as graphic with it. Because if you read about it, it's graphic, man. And this gets to the nastiness of it, man. The moment it opens, they got a little prologue, and then it opens to them opening up a church, and you see all these people that were praying but died in there. And they got those George Lucas necks right there. You know?
Oh, come on.
That's the pouch. That's the pouch. It's the pouch.
I'm sorry. Well, you know, they got everybody in there got like those snot pouches in there.
Yeah. Yeesh.
Yeah. Everybody, man, when you look at it, everybody's got like they got like especially the dead look better than the living, because the living are still talking, and they got like snot mustaches and snot goatees, and they don't flinch at that, man. It's one thing to be kind of scared by it, but it's disgusting, and that's as it should be. They got that down to a T.
I'm fine. Just need a minute.
No, you ain't fine.
See a minute, sir. I'll be okay.
Yeah, you're looking at your own vomit right now. You ain't fine, man.
Oh, that guy. He has like the whole breather mask. He's got like a little mask. Oh, no. Not preventing the smell.
Yeah, that's Harold Lawson. Is that
Lauder.
What is it?
Lauder.
Harold Lauder. He's one of the antagonists of the story. You'll get into that later. But that's the thing. They introduce you to this guy immediately. They introduce you to this scene that happens much later in the story. But at the same time, it's something that could probably pull people in.
Yeah, it did for me. It pulled me in. It didn't throw me off.
Well, I was watching with my wife, and she was just like, oh, my God, what the fuck happened here? So I was like, okay, you know, that's cool. One of the things they said they didn't want to go in and just concentrate on death and make a big apocalyptic story. What they want to do is they want to get right into the characters, because that's really the selling point of the story.
That is the strongest part of the book.
Yeah. He writes characters with like very specific, weird or different traits, because in this, if you haven't read the book, it's dealing with central characters who come together and you get a lot of variety on both sides. But like on the good side, you got an East Texas guy, just a good old boy.
Right.
You got a musician who was about to hit it big until the pandemic hit or the virus hit. You have a girl, Franny, who has lost her family and has to deal with Harold's crazy ass because she was his babysitter and he's in love with her. And apparently all he does is wallow in self-pity all day. So, you know, you and then they run across other people. Professor played by, what's his name?
Greg Kinnear.
Greg Kinnear. And then, of course, his mother, Abigail, who is played by Whoopi Goldberg. On the bad side, you got Alexander Skarsgard, who plays the walking dude. We'll talk about some of the characters that he has on his end.
Like Nat Wolff.
Nat Wolff, yeah. What was Nat Wolff's name?
Lloyd something.
Yeah, I have to look at these names in a little bit. Yeah, so it's a lot of characters. Thing is, all these characters have, again, a specific trait. There's one of them and two of them that are just kind of like, there's not much interesting going on with you. But he does have a way of writing these characters into intricate plots. And if you don't even like the characters, and you kind of like seeing what's going to happen when they get together. Mm-hmm. You know, that's one of the things that I have to say about the story when I first read it. I've complained about this before, and I still stick to this, but I said Stephen King is not a racist, but he does not understand black characters. He sees them as stereotypes. If you look at his past movies, again, I said this, people got mad. I don't give a fuck, because he does that. I mean, you look at The Green Mile.
Sure.
If you look at,
if
you look at Creepshow 2, they even describe a homeless drifter as, hey, there's some black dead guy right here.
Yeah, people love The Green Mile, but I have a problem watching that movie.
After a while, I had to admit, like, you know what? Because I used to love The Green Mile too, and I was like, oh, he's such a great storyteller. I can let this go. I'm like, nah. I like it's not only is it a stereotype, it's a big fucking stereotype.
Yeah, it's not only stereotypes, or he just doesn't know what to do with them. Honestly, because I'm also like thinking of It, and that was like the most boring character.
Yeah, he's the main character, but he's the most boring character.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, with Larry Underwood here, I read an interview with Stephen King where he didn't write this character as black. and they cast him as black. He was like, oh, that's a really good idea. I wish I'd thought of that.
Well, that's the thing with this character here. See, in The Stand, look, it's a little problematic. You got a bunch of white people who survived who are going to hang out, like I said, with the Harriet Tubman of the apocalypse. This old slave woman, pretty much. Yeah. God's told me to get y'all together. And I'm like, fuck that, man. That's a stereotype. The biggest scene with black people in that book is where a bunch of black dudes who are wearing loincloths for some reason get together and broadcast themselves at the end of the world executing white people. They call it a black junta. So I've always had a problem with this book.
Wow. So I didn't even remember that.
Yeah, it's you can look it up online. They actually have the paragraph right there. You. Yeah, he described it like that. This black junta.
Hunter.
Hunter. There you go. I am the hunter. But this right here, he decides to go with diversity, or at least the producers decide to go with more diversity right here. More diversity with the survivors. You see all types in the background, which is cool. But I like that they changed the character of Larry Underwood. Larry Underwood, played by how you say Jovan Adepo? Jovan Adepo.
Yeah.
Jovan Adepo here.
Jovan Adepo.
Yeah, man.
Which I didn't recognize him as the kid from Fences.
He's a kid from Fences.
Yeah.
He was in that German zombie flick.
Overlord.
Overlord.
Yeah,
that was him in
okay.
that. Yeah, man. He is great in this.
He is. As a matter of fact, he looks so much like a friend of mine, it threw me off. But yeah, he is really good in this.
Shit, if he was light skinned, he looked like a younger you.
I don't know about that. But.
Yeah, I see some parts of you in there, man. But he's my favorite character in this series right here, and it's funny because. Don't have sex with none but white women. It's almost like Stephen King.
That's why he's your favorite.
Yeah, it's almost like Stephen King gave him appropriations. But he's actually. I mean, taking the race out of it. I'm not even worried about that.
But no, he's an interesting character because, in as much as him, we open with him being a singer and pretty much a drug addict who's like a coke fiend.
Yep.
And he's kind of shady. But through all this is going on, he becomes a better person.
Yeah, that's why that makes him the most interesting character. Because I'm going to tell you, man, I think that when you look at this, some of these characters on the good side, they're likable, but they're not completely all that interesting. James Marsden, who was actually good in this, man. Mm-hmm. But, his character, Stu Redman, just a good old boy from Texas who happens not to be from East Texas, who happens to not be one of the racist ones.
I don't think that's a thing.
I'm trying to be fair.
I mean, it's a fantasy, so okay, let's go with that.
Yeah, but he's good, but that's his character. He's just a good guy. That's it. He's just laid back and easy, and people like him, and that's cool, man. I'll tell you what, if they made a modern day Andy Griffith show, he could be Andy Griffith. He's just likable. That's it. That's his character. Likable.
Yeah.
And even the casting's a little weird with that too. I like him, but he hooks up with the character of Franny, and Franny is played by Odessa Young. James Marsden is 47 years old. She's 22. If I looked that up correctly.
Well, yeah, but if you go by 1978, that wasn't a big deal.
And if you go by the apocalypse, it's like, well, fuck, what am I going to do?
Exactly. And what was she going to get with Weirdo?
No, hell no. She told Harold, like, I don't love you and I will never love you. Oh, you just make me crazier.
The thing about Harold, what I do remember from the book was how he seemed like he was kind of like a fat kid.
He was a fat kid who ate payday all day.
Yeah.
And he had pimples and everything.
Yeah. So updating him to make him he's more, lanky and tall, but this actor really, he brings the creep factor in a way that feels updated. I'm like, this kid, he's more of an Elliot Rodgers kind of person. And he reminds me of people we've met at times.
Yeah, Owen Teague.
I'm not going to throw out names, but
if you look at the background over there, I'm not saying that as anybody. But if you see some green over there, no, I'm just kidding. That's the thing about it, man. And like I said, I'm not nitpicking or anything. Like it's the apocalypse shit. If there's any time to get with a young chick, it's then. You ain't got no excuse. It's just the good people in this show. The good people are just okay.
Yeah,
they're normal and they're not all that interesting, to be honest with you. And I'm trying to think about that in the book because I think in the book they got deeper with them. And I'm not trying to use the book against it.
Because I remember feeling the same way with the book. It was like, okay, they're just good.
Yeah, that's it, people. They just good. And they don't talk. They don't cause shit, and they're just neighborly in this new environment that they have, which is fine. They're likable. Now, when you get to Las Vegas, woo, shit. There was, if you, what's that?
Well, go ahead and finish your sentence.
I was just saying.
I was going to say something to that.
If you ever want to live the bad guy of the apocalypse cliche or stereotype that you see in a movie, then welcome home. Las Vegas is the place to be. They collected
it from every other movie and poured it into this one casino. Because, look, I'm not going to bullshit. I was kind of digging this. I like how it's been updated. It's very much like they took cues from The Walking Dead, except it felt like they had purpose. I was liking all the characters better. And then that's the first 4 episodes.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? This show is all right. And then they get to the 5th episode where they focus on the walking dude in Vegas, and I was just like, oh, holy shit. All right, now you've kind of blown it. Now it's turned into a cartoon.
Walking, yeah. That shit was like something out of Double Dragon or something.
I was like, what show am I watching now?
People, I'm serious. It's like if they took, like you said, every stereotype of the bad dude or bad people out of every apocalypse out there and combined it with every comic book movie that you've seen, you would get this shit. Like over there, like the bad people are way too exaggerated.
Way into it. And I was like, listen, orgies and fighting to the death and pyrotechnics. Yeah, well, that's fun for a couple of weekends, but y'all are doing this every day.
Every day, people, and every day it's strippers and one thing that's cool, but then they get into motorcycle gangs. There's fucking flames all the time. All the burning time. Shit, gladiator
Nobody
rings.
Wears shirts.
There's costumes, crazy ass costumes that people wear, and they make sure that they don't brush their teeth so they look extra evil.
This was in the book. This is that part where we hit the Stephen King plot point where you're like, yeah, man, this might have seemed like a good idea back then.
Yeah.
Right now, we know better. Nothing is this straight black and white.
That story does not that black and white. And honestly, if they really wanted to update this, that's where I mean that the book is outdated.
Yes.
Because that story, I understand, like, look, I know this is your Lord of the Rings, but Lord of the Rings are dealing with elves and and hobbits and shit, like and dwarves and shit.
Even Sauron didn't go this hard.
No, he didn't. No, it's not like y'all went to the volcano and everybody was fucking and dressed up like goddamn Mad Max and everything.
Yeah, it's all Mad Max.
Yeah, it's Mad Max on fucking steroids and cocaine. That book is outdated, man, and that's what I've always had a problem with, because I love the book because I think that Stephen King is a great storyteller. But
yes, it's a fun adventure, but watching it play out in real life, it doesn't work.
No, and if they really wanted to update this, they would have found a way to represent the evil in a more complex way. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't have done it in such a straight way where, like, people, start dressing up like they're in the fucking WWE and shit.
This is what Joel Schumacher would have done.
Yeah. And the characters are just, even before they get to Las Vegas, when they write bad characters, bad in this. Before they get to Las Vegas, even when people are sick, and they are a danger, they are presented as they're overacting, man. They're acting as over the top too. This dude got a frog throat, and he's still coming out talking like the Joker and shit.
I wonder where you got to. So what's this? A tearful goodbye, huh?
He's just like a drunk dude.
Yeah, I know.
He's like a dude that's got in the bathroom throwing up on himself. He's ready to start a fight with somebody in the bar. Man, they don't know what to do with these characters, man. And even they're not consistent in tone, these bad characters. Nat Wolff, who plays Lloyd Henry. Like, he's so over the top. He's dressed like a pimp, but he's very flamboyant. He's supposed to be straight, but I don't think he realizes how gay he's playing that role. There's even a point he's talking about when they're supposed to have a threesome with another chick, and he's like, "Girl, get on over here." And I was like, "No wonder your dick is soft."
I know, yeah. Like, there's nothing happening. I don't know what to tell you. I know.
And by the way, the actors are having a great time. They're good.
I like Nat Wolff.
I do too. I like him in that role.
But what was interesting, like when you started showing him being with the bad people, and then you go to his backstory.
Yeah.
What happened, and you see, like, okay, with this robbery, I mean, I'm not saying he's not guilty, but it was really, he kind of got caught up. But then later he fully embraces just.
Yeah, well, I think what happens is the walking dude, the bad dude, played by Alexander Skarsgard.
Who I also like.
Who I like in this, even though his character's a little too groovy for me. But, you know, he goes and he preys on people's tendency to go one way or the other. The barometer's leaning one way, you'll probably go with them. If not, then, you know, like, fuck off, man. I'm going to see Whoopi Goldberg over in the cornfield. But that's just a tip of it. I mean, they got a dude here, Tom Cullen, who's a mentally challenged guy who I actually like.
I like him a lot.
He's played by Brad William Henke, and I know people are going to like shudder when you think of how they're going to handle this mentally challenged person, but the actor's great.
He is. He's actually my favorite character, and he's not in it much.
Oh, Lord. he can't read.
Yeah.
Everything he looks at, he's like, he look at something that says, poison. He's like, I was looking at it on this bottle. It says MOON. Drink up. You know, that actor's great though. My name Tom Collin. I'm 41 years old. I cannot read anything, but if you give me a chance, I will do my best to do better. And people are like, fuck, shut up.
Anytime they interrupt him, he starts back.
Back over again. But he's such a sweet guy, man.
Yeah.
And he gets to Las Vegas and people talk about you retarded motherfucker, you stupid ass, and he just takes it nice. Ezra Miller as Trash Can Man.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started.
This is just a slobbering, overacting Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
So Ezra Miller.
He's the most Ezra Miller as you've ever seen.
He's at his Ezra Millerist in this.
Yeah, because I was like,
you want to fight?
Yeah, because I was so like, all right, I remember this character from the book. And I kind of liked reading the adventures of this character. Yeah. And this here, fuck you.
Yeah, man. This is they call him Trash Can Man. He's a pyromaniac, and he loves setting fires and whatnot. And I remember seeing him in the 1994 series. I remember reading him in the book, and the character is crazy, but this motherfucker just takes it way too far.
Yeah,
way too far, man.
He's not believable as any human you've ever met.
He is a Batman villain. In this. Amber Heard is not gonna win any new fans with this. People look at this and be like, that ain't no character. That's fucking Amber Heard.
That's the one. Yeah, honestly, she's so unglammed. I didn't even recognize that was her until 2 or 3 episodes. Yeah. And then seeing it was her, I was like, wait. Okay, one, it's her, so people are not gonna be happy. The other thing is what her character is, but she does such a out of nowhere about face.
Well,
because I remember her character being brought along where it was always like, and here it's like, oh, she's all right, and then suddenly it's like, what the
story here. The thing is that Stephen King, he lays the way he writes, he lays in little elements here and there so that when they're triggered, they will initiate another chain action of events, and sometimes those things don't make sense. That's why you got crazy characters who see things or characters who see things. They don't make much sense. And that's another problem with a lot of the problem with this that's going to happen is that it's just the material itself. It doesn't work. And now that we're doing it today, and if you're staying this close with the book, they're even more glaring, especially with her character, because her character has a connection with the walking dude before the virus and shit even hits. The walking dude is pulling some mental pedophilia with her. And it's just fucking weird, and you look at it like it doesn't make any sense, but it's only to trigger something else later in the story. So that is one of the problems that I have with Stephen King. You ask yourself, why is the book so popular? And the reason why the book is so popular is because Stephen King, the characters might not be the strongest, but Stephen King weaves a story excellently. He knows how to end a chapter with a good cliffhanger. Well-timed cliffhangers. Subplots, they intersect well and in fun ways. Personalities that's why I was talking about the characters. They have these weird personality traits. They're different, so different from each other that it's going to create an interesting dynamic when their plot lines have to intersect or they have to interact with each other. And even with the bad people, they had their own cartoonish way of being enjoyable. I think for me, this would have worked better had it been in order, because without it being in order, there's a lot of things that don't have the same impact. The reason of putting this in order, and I'm saying this not even looking at the book, I'm thinking that if you have a narrative where you're getting everybody's storyline, their background, you're giving them time to like really focus on them, and then you get to know them, and you're thinking like, oh shit, how are they going to interact later? That's something that has impact. I think the introduction of Mother Abigail was flat. Mother Abigail who's played great by Whoopi Goldberg, by the way.
Yeah, she does a good job.
Whoopi Goldberg does a great job at this, but she's a mystery that everybody's seeing, and everybody's on their way to see her. She's introduced way early, and that's in a way that's really not eventful either, for me at least. Because you might think differently, but I thought because it should be such this emotional thing when they see, oh my God, I dreamed of you and I finally made it. I didn't know if I was going to see you. But they have her come in the middle of a scene like she's been there the whole time. The virus, when it hits, man, it definitely has a clunky way of introducing the walking dude, Alexander Skarsgard, who's good as the character. When I saw it, I thought, that's perfect casting.
Yeah.
That's great casting. But he's supposed to be a result of the apocalypse. He's not supposed to start it. It's supposed to be like, oh my God, the world is burning and falling apart and death is everywhere. Now's my time. They do some real corny shit here where he's actually a part of the whole thing. This is the part that's originally at the beginning of the book where the soldier escapes with the virus because there's a malfunction with the door and he actually gets out, and that's how the virus spreads. So in the book, it's just that's a true malfunction. It's a little bit different here. Oh shit, my man left the elevator open for the virus, and I'm like, that
didn't bother me.
That did bother me, and maybe like I said, maybe I hadn't read it, but because I guess if you haven't read the book, it could be like, oh, was this guy the cause of this? Because he pops up everywhere in what is the initial moment that the virus gets out. Yoo-hoo. I just thought that these things would have had maybe a better impact had they been introduced more gradually. Maybe they had a time constraint, maybe they had a money constraint, or maybe they truly did just want to, hey, we want to change it up for the people who have not read it, and the people who have read the book.
I am not one to advocate for more episodes, but I do think this should be split into 2 seasons. With us really getting to know the characters a lot better. So when they come together and interact, it means more.
Well, you know what did you hear what they originally wanted to do? They want to pull some Lord of the Rings shit, where they were going to do it in 2 or 3 parts.
Yeah.
Okay. That would have made more sense.
So they want to release it theatrically, and they want to make this like a trilogy.
Oh.
Or at least 2 parts.
Okay.
Maybe that would have been a better thing.
No, but doing it this way with 9 episodes, that's as much as doing 3 parts.
Yeah, and maybe that's what I'm saying. After seeing it for 6 episodes, I'm thinking I want to see the last 3.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those where I'm like, I'm not that on it, but I've come 6 episodes at this point. I want to see the last 3 to see how they ended.
I definitely do too. And like I said, man, that
6th episode leaves you on a big cliffhanger.
But I love some of the stuff that they're doing to actually keep people in. But some of the stuff I'm like, man, these characters just don't hold up all the time. Harold Lauder, man, is just, man, that character is just kind of annoying after a certain point. He's just a guy who just gives monologues in self-pity. The actor's good. I like that guy who plays him.
Oh, I like his take on the character. I like what they're doing with it. I mean, he's a detestable character. As a matter of fact, like I said, he probably is the most updated to feel like people who have been in the news or that we run into.
I'm saying I like him earlier. Later on, and when he starts monologuing, I'm like, okay, this character's starting to bother me a little bit. Because now these characters are losing depth, even though they gave him more depth earlier. And he's one of the better characters in the book. He starts out real kind of corny and cliche, but then later on, they talk about how he gets muscles and shit, and he starts looking cool, but he just can't let that shit go.
I remember the book feeling like Harold might turn things around.
Yeah,
he might be all right.
Now, I don't want to say too much,
But then it's like,
so. I want to see what Stephen King does to change the last episode, how we do the conclusion here, how we do the big climax. I think, and also the source material itself keeps us from being great at this point. I'll tell you this, it does keep you interested, and that is the power of Stephen King's storytelling. He just knows how to weave a tale, and watching this with my wife, she is definitely wanting to see what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
I mean, she says something, she says, that's stupid. How'd they do that? what the fuck is going on? No, can't nobody do that. Can we watch this episode? I'm like, yeah.
Well,
So,
okay, then it's a success.
well, I think not completely, not 100%. I think even with this being out of order, probably more than being out of order, it keeps some dangling strings there to keep people into it. But it's fun. That is what I would say. It's fun to watch. So I liked it, man. I did like it. It's got some constraints that it just can't get over. And then there's some things they could have done better when they did this. But I give it a high rental. I did enjoy it.
Yeah, you know, like I said, I really did genuinely enjoy the first 4 episodes and what they did with it. It's only in episode 5 when they get to Vegas where I start to turn around. But they've built up enough, like with so many Stephen King books, they've built up enough with these characters that I want to see them. I want to see them follow through till the end. So I gotta stick around for it. But I'm like you; it's a high rental.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's already on TV.
It's already on TV.
Yeah, if you have CBS Access, I would never say go see this at the movie theater. I would never, even if it was like split up, I would just say don't do that shit.
I mean, look,
But-
CBS All Access has been trying to get, like, they got Star Trek Discovery, and they got the Star Trek cartoon, Lower Decks, and the Good Fight. And it's kind of been like the streaming service with 3 shows.
Yeah,
so
it's a bit
for
of
them
an
to have
issue.
a 4th one, it's
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
all right.
If you got CBS Access already, I'm not going to even tell you to go get CBS Access for this. No, not at all. But if you have it, or if you have a means of watching this, yeah, definitely check it out. It is right where it is, in the right place on TV, and it's a lot of fun to watch. It's just, I wish it could. It's not great. I wish it could be better.
I wish it could be better.
Yeah, but it's definitely something I keep you watching. It's fun. If you can, see it if it's at all possible.
But
I wouldn't go out your way.
But if you are a big fan of the book, you might have to lose some of that.
Yeah, well, that's with everything. You know.
I know, but some people still can't.
Yeah, they're called assholes.
It's not accurate to how I wanted it.
Yeah, I stopped being an asshole a long time ago, at least in that area. I found other ways to be an asshole. It's much better, believe me.